you got busted. And that is a bad news. So the first thing you do is to take that tax office paper and give it to your accountant. And the first thing you can notice is the high and crazy amount of fines and penalties applicable, starting from 120% of it. That's crazy. Like if you owed 5,000 euros in taxes, you end up with 5,000 euros to be paid plus a minimum 6,000 euros fine. And the first thing you want to know is, how can I let it go without paying the full fine? What can I do? Like, first of all, the bad news is that there is no amnesty program in place. I understand that working with our jurisdiction, you can go talk to the tax office and explain your mitigating factor and say, sorry, I didn't know that, my bad, it's my first time I've been in Italy, there's a language barrier, I have had troubles, I didn't know I was required to disclose it, I just, file the tax returns and pay whatever is due, but please let the fine go. This doesn't work in Italy. The tax office will say, I'm very sorry, I can show you empathy, however, it is what it is. Now, the first thing you can do is, if there's any value which can be negotiated, you can start negotiating. So the procedure is called accertamento con adesione. Normally what happens is that you disclose certain values and the tax office thinks that that value is undervalued or overvalued. So the first thing you do is say, you explain your situation. And this really helps if you have a third party, independent party evaluation. Say, the transaction took place at this value because of this and that reason. And if you think that is uncommon, think about any time you have goodwill. What's the evaluation? So whenever you trade that value, there must be an independent third-party evaluation. Or what about the transaction on a property in real estate? So yes, you can have traded that for that value because the market has shrunk, and the tax office says, well, no, according to me, the value is higher. What you have to do is to start negotiating, and then you end up to a certain value, which might reduce your fine. And also, if you vow your right to appeal to court, which by the way, you have 60 days from the day you received that letter, any fines is reduced to 1/3. So the first thing you have to do is to reduce your fine, reduce the tax you are owed, and then you have to consider, does it make sense to appeal that? Does it make sense to go to court? You might win or you might lose. And if you win, you're fine. If you lose, you also have to pay your accountant or your lawyer for the work they've performed, and possibly you're required to pay lawyer fees to the tax office. So this is what you have to consider. But normally, it is more convenient, unless it's very, very much faulty, that you decide to take the 1/3, the 2/3 reduction in your fine and penalty, leaving you with just 1/3. And by the way, you can also provide a payment in installment. And the payment in installment can also be done until 10 years with 120 installment payments. So this is something you have to consider. And finally, remember that being right at court, it might cost you money. So sometimes you might be right, however, your lawyer and accountant fee might outweigh what you would have paid in case you just said, I'm sorry, I'll take this fine and I'll let it go.